In this tutorial, I'll show you how to program WPF gradient brushes and understand the fundamental concepts. Please find more WPF tutorials in my book, Visual C# Programming Essentials. Why you may need WPF gradient brushes and what you can do with them depends on your project and imagination. You can mix and blend colors to create virtual images and produce various visual effects. For example, you can simply generate a sequence of color streams as in this brush, or create a more sophisticated color stream like this, or create 2D visual effects as in this brush. After you learn the basics, there is no limit for your creativity except your imagination. But you have to begin with the fundamentals. To program a WPF gradient brush object, you need to understand two fundamental concepts: the gradient axis and the color offset. A gradient axis can be simply viewed as a line that connects two points. For example, on this rectangle, line AB will make a horizontal gradient axis, and line AC a vertical, and line AD a diagonal. Now let's see how it works. Here in WPF XAML script, I declare a liner gradient brush object named test A. Then I define the start point as 0, 0 and the end point as 0, 1. Note that these two parameters build the gradient axis. The values in both the start point and the end point sets the horizontal and vertical coordinates. Thus, in this XAML declaration, I have built the actual gradient axis of the brush. How does it impact the distribution of colors? You'll see this when I add colors. You can insert colors by adding a gradient stop element to the brush object. A gradient stop specifies two parameters, the color and the offset. In a simplified explanation, the offset simply indicates where the color stream should end. Let's add the first color. Here's red. And green, blue. As you can see, the red, green, blue color streams are distributed horizontally. Now it's time to look at the offset parameter more closely. For the first color stream, which is red, the offset instructs the brush to paint the red stream from the start point along the gradient axis up to 25% of the underlying UI element area. In this case, it is a rectangle. In other words, in this brush, the red stream should be offset at 25% mark, green at 45%, and blue at 85%. Now let's manipulate the gradient axis parameter to see how we can modify the distribution of color streams. Currently, we have a horizontal gradient axis. Changing the end point from 0, 1 to 1, 0 will make it a vertical gradient axis. And to 1 1, it will make a diagonal. By now you may have noticed that the borders between the colors are blurred or blended. That's because in this brush the color offsets are overlapping. That can be changed if we want clear-cut color stream borders. To prove that, I have declared another brush called Test B that clearly separates color streams. Here it is. We simply change the name of the brush, and now we have the second brush, which is specifically designed to separate the color streams. If you ask me, can I use this in real-world tasks? Yes, you can. One of the most interesting uses of gradient brushes is in creating visual 2D effects, which I discuss in my next tutorial. Here, let me show you how you can build, let's say, flag brushes as an example of a more practical task. For instance, this gradient brush paints the flag of Italy. Let's see it. And then the other one here, I have the flag of Ireland. The visuals that you saw here are not real images. They are virtual reality, which I would define as a deception of perception. What you do by programming WPF gradient brushes is an example of graphical digital engineering. If you are still with me, then you made the first important step in understanding WPF gradient brushes. Congratulations!